Hey guys, welcome to the Pit Stop. My name is Matthew. This is a channel where we talk about cars, car news, and cool things like that. Um, Today we're going to be starting off with what I believe is the future of the Mustang now that all of its competitors are gone, mainly the Camaro, Challenger, Charger, and how I think that's going to go. Considering that's a very big thing going on right now, considering it's the final year for all the other competition for them. And first we're going to go over what the performance is going to be like for the Mustang. Is it going to keep innovating? Then we're going to go over sales, how that's going to do, and then finally possible other options that Ford might do, like different target markets, different competition, how they're going to handle all of that. So let's dive right in. First, we're going to go over the performance of the Mustang. So with the Mustang and not having as many competitors, I believe that. By the way, all this is my opinion. None of it's actually, going on. If it does, cool. But first, performance of the Mustang. So pretty much now that the competitors are gone, the main ones being the Charger, Challenger, and Camaro. Those were always the main competitors for the Mustang ever since the very beginning, back in the '60s. So now that those are gone, I'm kind of wondering how exactly the performance is going to go, because it's not going to have any of the domestic competition to go against, right? Which is the direct competition. So my worry is that the actual performance of the car is going to end up deteriorating over time or staying stagnant, which means it's either going to get less horsepower, less torque, just won't perform as well, or it'll stay about the exact same. The reason why I have a fear of this is because competition usually comes with innovation, which means a better product comes out for a person. Everything, just in general, gets better across the board for every company, right? For example, an example of it being a little stagnant would be back in 2005. So back in 2005, the Ford Mustang came out with its new model year and everything, and it came out with a new styling, which is more of a retro style, right? It went back and started looking back like the '60s Mustang again in 2005, and which honestly really good, had great looks and everything. Only problem is Charger, Camaro, and Challenger, they weren't to be found anywhere, right? So it's just a Mustang by itself, right? Which people would normally think, oh, that's cool, right? Mustang can do whatever it wants best because it's the only option, which not really wrong. But with the Mustang being gone, not the Mustang being gone, sorry, misspoke. With its competition being gone, the Mustang had no reason to really get better because it is the only option. So people, if they wanted to get a muscle car, they would get that. There's no competition, didn't have to worry about any like sales or anything going towards anything else. So with that being said, because they've thought about that, and there's no competition until I believe 2010 with the Camaro. The Mustang really kind of stayed doing its own thing for a while. It kept from 2005 to 2010. It kept the same 4.6 liter V8 3 valve with only 300 horsepower, which was not powerful enough for what the car should be, right? But they had the reason why they didn't like improve on it is because they really did not have a need to, right? Like they went through, they're not really competing against anything. Right? All domestic products aren't a thing anymore. The Charger, Challenger, and Camaro, they're all a couple years away. So for a good period of time, 5 years, the Mustang is able to do whatever it wanted to without any consequence whatsoever. Because say the buyers wanted something else, they had no option for it. So that's why finally in 2010, when Chevy released the Camaro, they it forced Mustang to have to step up a little bit because Camaro came out with the 400 plus horsepower V8, which just completely outclassed the Mustang in every shape imaginable, right? Like it had more power, had more torque, right? Everything. So the people that wanted more power out of Mustang but wasn't able to get it, they had the option now. And right at the same time, that's when they released the first gen Coyote, right? And then the horsepower war started again when Camaro and Charger came back, right? So, that kind of makes it where since Dodge and Chevy had to compete with the Mustang, they came out with Carvel beat it. And then the Mustang had to come out and become better than the Camaro and Charger. Right? That's what I mean by, what was it? Competition creates innovation. Because without competition, all cars would just end up being the same because there's no need for getting better. So that's what I'm kind of worried about now, because without those, there's no domestic market that has, like, there's no competitor in the domestic market, which normally there would be, right? That's why I'm worried that it's going to stagnate and there's not going to be much. Or I could be wrong and they could just go full send, which I hope they do, but I don't really think they will. And just make the Mustang as good as it possibly can be, right? So my fear is it's just going to stagnate and there's not going to be much innovation going on, and Mustang's going to stay about where it's at. The next option I was worried about, right, is I believe it's sales, right? So with the Mustang being the only option, right, it really leads it to back in like how it was in 2005 or 1964, where 64 still had the record debut of over, I think, is 100,000 or a million, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that. But it made it where since it's the only option, its sales was insane. Like, Mustang still has the record for, I believe, the highest launch year, like the most cars sold on the initial launch, which is cool. That was back in the 60s. But now with it being like this, Mustang's gonna be the only option unless you want to go to, say, almost like BMW or Porsche or something like that to get a sports car. You'd have to go Mustang if you want to have an American-made one. Which that means that the Mustang has an entire open market by itself. It's almost like a monopoly in the muscle car market. That'll make it where sales would be insane. So Ford would be making a bunch of money because they're the only option. Which, yeah, that's good. Yeah, Ford makes a bunch of money. Cool. But is the Mustang going to perform how we know the Mustang to be? That's where I'm a little concerned about. But still, with it being the only option, sales are about to be amazing. Because I know a lot of people aren't for this all going electric thing. I know I certainly ain't. I don't like the idea of it. I think the farthest it should go is a hybrid, but that's not how it's going, so it is what it is. But I honestly think the Mustang sales are about to go skyrocketing after this, because it'd be the only option, and well, fortunately that's just how it's gonna be. The final thing I was gonna mention was if Ford changes the actual target for the Mustang. What I mean by that is, since Ford doesn't have any competition directly here now with the Charger, Challenger, and Camaro gone, is will they set their eyes on something of a higher performance, like say the Corvette, right? The Corvette, a Stingray, which that's more on Mustang's level, or if will they go like with the GTD, which is an amazing car by the way, and they have that and it goes towards the Z06? Or are they going to target it towards, I don't know, higher end cars over in Europe, like say what would be a realistic example here? AMG GT, right? Which it's already kind of around there, but usually it's the GT 350 or Dark Horse or something like that that ends up going against that. But what if they send all of like the Mustang lineup towards that? Or if they make it where the Mustang's, all electric, hybrid, SUV, and change the Mustang into its own brand instead of the actual car itself. That is my worst fear, because they already showed that they're willing to do it with the Mustang Mach-E, which is not good. I'm just worried that they're going to do it with the traditional Mustang, and how they did it with how some car companies like what's the example of it? The Eclipse, right? It used to be a sports car from Japan. Now it's a SUV. Like, I'm worried that they're going to do that and ruin the heritage of the Mustang, which is not going to be good. But luckily, we got a couple years still of just straight muscle car, which I'm hoping sticks around for a while. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are, because I'm a little concerned about it. But only time will tell. If you have any ideas, put comments in below. This is my thought process on it. But I'll probably do a deep dive a little later once the actual Camaro and Charger and Challenger are actually gone, like no more being produced at all. probably do a little bit more of a deep dive in there. But that's it for this time. See ya.